What's up guys, welcome to the shop. Today I'm going to do a couple quick modifications to my bike before I take it out on a ride. The first thing I got to do is modify my front fender. When I set up the front of my bike, I wanted to have my triple trees as low down on the fork tubes as I could get them, because the modifications that I made to my fork gave me more travel, but they also made my forks a lot longer. So I set it up to where I could use the full range of travel without any contact with the lower tree. The thing I didn't think about was clearance with my fender. All summer, I've been bashing the back of my fender into my crash protection. It's pretty bent up now, so I'm ready to ditch it, but especially if you don't have a fork brace on your bike, your front fender actually does provide some rigidity to your forks. So instead of ditching the whole thing, I'm going to drill out the rivets, ditch the fender, and keep the brace on my bike. So let's get to work. This fender is pretty damaged. It's got a big old dent in the back, and it's actually creasing out on the sides. It's been hit so hard. I think it looks better with the front fender on the bike, but it's a stunt bike, so it really doesn't bother me much not having it. The other thing I'm going to do today is a little bit of tuning, trying to change how the bike handles. Last summer, before I learned how to wheelie the bike, I had the rear end as tall as it is now, but I had the forks the way they came stock, so they were a lot shorter and softer. I had the stock belt on the back of the bike, and the length of that belt meant that the rear axle was pushed back a bit farther. So I did some rollers last summer and found them way easier than I find them now. I've got so much traction on the back end that I think I would be better off trying to give up some traction back there to gain some traction on the front end for rollers and drifting, because I want to start learning to do all of that. So I'm going to put a longer chain on the bike. When I put this chain on, I realized that I could slam the rear axle all the way forward and run the chain as short as possible, and my tension was good. I know I can add at least one more link to the chain, maybe two. I know I've got over an inch of adjustment in where the rear axle is, so maybe I can gain an inch to the swing arm. That should make a pretty big difference. So I'm looking to try that, ride the bike, and see if I like how it feels. Now I've got the axle slammed all the way to the back. Let's see how much more chain we can fit on this bike. I'm going to go ahead and use the full chain. I don't have to cut it down at all. This chain is 2 sections longer than the chain that was on there. There's a chance that maybe I could have fit 1 more link in if I had it, but realistically, I don't think I would have had enough room on the chain tensioner, certainly not over time as the chain stretched. So I really think this is as long as I can possibly go. This is the same brand as the chain I had before. It's an EK chain. This one is actually a higher quality, higher tensile strength chain, and the anodized orange on it looks really cool. Let's get this master link on. New day, new outfit, new haircut. I dropped everything I was doing last night to go skateboard with a friend. We recently got a new addition to our local skate park, which has been awesome. All I got left to do on the bike is rivet the master link and tighten the chain, and I'm ready to ride. All right, time to take it out on a little ride and see if I can feel a difference. I would imagine I will, because that rear axle is pushed back 3/4 of an inch from where it was at before. My tire pressures are set exactly to what I've been running them at for a while now. I've got 35 in the rear tire and 20 up front. I've been lowering the pressure in the front tire, trying to get more grip to learn rollers and burnouts. And I also haven't really wanted to try anything under 20, because if you freeze frame a video when I come down out of a wheelie, it's pretty crazy how flat and deformed the tire gets at 20 PSI. I'm hoping I've got more traction in the front and less in the back, and hopefully it's a better balance. So I took it out on a quick rip, and even with a cold tire at 35 PSI, it still hooks up really good for a wheelie. I figured I'd go home really quick, add another 5 PSI to it, and see how that feels. So right now I'm running about what should be 40 PSI cold. So let's see how that feels. Still hooks up. Got a little slip there. It does feel noticeably different balancing. Almost made it through the turn. Oh, fingers are so cold. As soon as the sun went behind the mountains, it just got frigid. I didn't have the best ride, but it was enough for me to know that that tire still hooks up really good, even with the rear axle pushed back another 3/4 of an inch and another 5 PSI in the tire. These shorter days in the fall are a real bummer because I really need those late daylight hours to have open roads without a bunch of commuter traffic on it. So tonight it was just endless cars on the road. And as soon as the sun went behind the mountains, it got cold really quick. I was not prepared for that. I had moto gloves on and my fingers got frozen in a couple minutes. But I'll keep working on my tire pressures, and it's really time for me to start working on rollers and drifting. I've been putting it off for way too long. I think I did the first one-handers that I've showed you guys on the Harley tonight, so hopefully you're stoked on that. I don't have much more time to ride before winter sets in here, so I gotta take advantage of it while I can. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. See you in the next one. Let her rip.